Good afternoon. Happy Juneteenth. So Dr. Kelly and I are here for, is this week 14, right? Or is
I think
it 15?
it's 15.
Oh, wow. This is week 15 of our COVID updates. And I mean, in case you haven't paid attention, clearly numbers have changed, not for the better, but for the worse, unfortunately. I heard that 75% of the ICUs in Florida are full of COVID patients. So, and then I'm sure everyone's seen on the news about the 16 people that were at a bar and all got COVID. But, I mean, they told us what to do. If you don't do it, this is what happens. And hopefully we won't have to shut down again. We want to make sure everyone understands this is still the first wave of COVID-19. This is not the second wave. This is the first wave. So let's, try and at least end the first wave sometime very soon, because this could last forever if we don't. So let's just be smart and try and do what they ask us to do, which is to please, shelter in place if you can, wear your mask when you're in public, wash your hands, all that great stuff. Social distance when you're out, all that great stuff. I know it's getting hot in most of the country, so they want to get out, cabin fever, but just practice safety.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so hard to put a mask on. Like, I still go places and folks aren't wearing them. And I'm like, it's such a simple fix. We're not asking you to give blood every week or donate an organ. Like, just wear a mask. Like, how hard is that? And the thing is, like, you're not like those physicians who are wearing N95 masks the entire day. You're just wearing like a normal surgical mask. Like,
some of them are wearing like 3 masks a day for the whole day. They have they doubled up and tripled up masks.
That's what I do. I wear my N95 and then I wear a surgical mask over it because I have to reuse my N95. So I'm like, how hard is it? And you're not even wearing the mask the entire day. Just wear it when you're out in public. Like, it's a really simple thing to do. I honestly don't get it.
People think that you're asking too much of them.
It really annoys me when I see someone in public without it because, I really think that if wearing a mask would protect the wearer, more people would probably wear it. But because you're thinking of other people, people are just selfish. But I implore you, whoever's listening to us, when you're out in public, just put a mask on, please.
Please just wear a mask. And, and that includes, because I recently had delivery, and he didn't want to bring it. I live in a high rise. He didn't want to bring it up to my door, but he made me go down and he had no mask on. That blew me away. I was like, wait a minute. You don't want to come up the elevator, but then you have the nerve not to be wearing a mask. That's just trifling. So, I definitely, please encourage everyone, wear your masks. Wear your masks, please. So, happy Juneteenth. If you don't know what Juneteenth is, you guys, and I am so glad that because of what's going on in the world right now, more people are recognizing Juneteenth. So it is, honestly, Juneteenth, to me, illustrates what has happened to Black people over the years. It is not funny, but it really does, right? 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation is when we finally got to find out that we were all free. And that is just unfair. But like I said, I think it really demonstrates how this world actually regards Black people, unfortunately.
It's so true. I actually watched, I think I told you about it. I watched a movie on Netflix recently called The Bloods, I think. Was Spike Lee?
Yeah, The 5 Bloods.
The 5 Bloods. And I didn't know this, but along with the movie, he gave education as well. It's typical Spike Lee style. And he was like, even though African Americans made up 10% of the population at the time of the Vietnam War, they were 30-something plus % of the soldiers over there. And literally after this movie ended, I was bawling my eyes out because I was like, how many years later we are still fighting as Black people for equality?
And you and I both have seen people online say, what are you talking about? There's the what are you talking about? The Constitution that sets you free and all these things that they were put in. let me say this. They were created, but for whatever reason, the rules never seem to apply and the laws never seem to apply to everyone.
Even go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Even look at the recent elections. When in Atlanta, well, I guess, Atlanta and the suburbs around Atlanta, certain counties, people could walk in and out within 20 minutes. But the counties that had a higher percentage of Black people, they were waiting in line for 5-6 hours. So there's still voter suppression going on right now, even though there are laws to protect us from voter suppression.
Yeah, that was horrible. I heard about that. And, that's how you guys ended up with the wrong governor in the first place, because Governor Stacey Abrams should be her name. And perhaps it'll be VP Abrams. God is good. But Governor Abrams should have been the governor. But because of voter suppression throughout the state of Georgia, in areas, like you said, where she would have been getting a lot of votes, somehow Kemp got voted in, and God only knows. That man doesn't seem so bright, because I don't know. The way that Georgia done rolled out with this COVID stuff scares me. It really frightens me. But yeah, so it's horrible that in 2020, we are still having these discussions. But I'm very happy to see all these different organizations that are realizing that this is a great day to celebrate. They're actually trying to make it a national holiday, like they had to fight for. Well, you weren't here then, but when I was in elementary school is when they fought for the King holiday to be celebrated and for that to be a bank holiday. Or were you here then? You weren't here then, right? Okay. So that was a big deal. That was a huge deal, because Martin Luther King was, Dr. Martin Luther King was who he was, and he made a huge difference. And just like there was Abraham Lincoln Day, George Washington, you know what I mean? They had all these holidays for all. There's a Columbus Day. We won't even get into that. So there's a holiday for all these other people, and there wasn't one for him. So they got King Holiday, and King Holiday is a bank holiday. Its post offices are closed. It is a big deal. And so they're trying to make Juneteenth the same, and I think that would be great as well.
Well, the president has made Juneteenth the big thing, so I think
yes, because of the occupant is why we all know what Juneteenth is. Thank you to the occupant for educating us all. But you know what else happened today, and perhaps you don't know because you've been busy. They they fired the man that killed Breonna Taylor.
Good.
So I don't know if they purposely waited to do that on this day, because it was done today. I don't know if they waited on purpose, but I didn't talk to you yesterday. But yesterday I watched an interview with Angie Martinez and Angela Yee. Please go find it on YouTube. And they spoke to her mother, Tamika Palmer. And when I tell you my heart was broken as she described what happened, I've never heard anything so crazy in my entire life. That woman was sent to the hospital when they knew good and hell well that her daughter was still in that apartment. So she went to the hospital, and she was there for 2 hours, dear. And they were like, I'm sorry, we don't even have anyone on the way here with that name. We don't know. And she's like, what?
Wow. It's sad. It's sad. That happened, in March? Was it March that happened?
March in Louisville, Kentucky.
It's sad that it took 3 months for this to happen. And they haven't even filed charges yet. He just got fired, right?
He got fired. Because all this time, they were on an administrative leave, which, if you ask me, is another word for vacation. But yeah, so, and then, after the video ends, they played the 911 call that her boyfriend, he thought that someone was intruding in their house and shooting up the house. He called 911 trying to get the police to come, not knowing that it was the police doing this.
But wasn't he arrested?
He was arrested because he was protecting his woman. He had a firearm that was legally purchased, legally registered, and he shot at them because he thought somebody was breaking into his home. He didn't know what was going, and not even his home, his girlfriend's home. He was over there visiting. He was trying to keep her safe.
That's just wrong.
Exactly. So they arrested him. The poor guy wasn't able to attend the funeral, couldn't mourn properly. Yeah, when I tell you the whole thing, when you listen to the story, especially if you watch the mother tell it, Girl, I was just like, oh my God, this poor woman.
Why would they keep him? I mean, you arrest him initially, but why would they keep him locked up when he had the firearm legally?
Because
I was just protecting his home.
Because then they would have had to admit to the fact that they screwed up. Think about it. Just like they sent her mother to the hospital saying, because literally she asked an officer and they said the ambulance took the girl to the hospital.
Well, he missed her funeral. That is so sad.
So he's not been able to grieve properly. The poor man will never be the same. Never be the same. And they wonder why Black men have such issues. It's because you treat them this way. This man did nothing wrong. These were upstanding citizens, and you treat them this way. And, you know, Angie Martinez was saying her fiance heard the story, and he was like, I would have done the same thing. If somebody was attacking, you know, our home or, you know, where we're at, I would have shot too. I mean, you're protecting your home. Right. And he goes, my first instinct is to protect you. If I hear or I see gunshots, I'm going to immediately act. If he thought it was the police, then why would he have called the police? And that's why I was like, you all are lying. You making up all sorts of stories. So, you know, just crazy. But yeah, so so that was that. But you guys, happy Juneteenth. I hope that everyone buy black today, if no other day. Buy black today. And, you know, if you are one of those people that has some different opinions, maybe you should just lay off of them today. Give us a break. Give us a day. You know, Black Lives Matter. Maybe
listen,
for you.
I unfollowed someone already today. So my unfollowed fingers, unfriend finger is working. Anointed unfriend finger.
Right. You know, we've already seen strange posts about how some other people are celebrating Juneteenth. And I'm like, oh God, Jesus, you don't get it. But, you know, that's neither here or there. May the Lord bless and keep you. Just, you know, I just can't, you know. But kudos to those that are allies that are trying to learn. I had a friend that just watched 13th. I don't know if you've watched that yet on Netflix. And she's a white woman, and she was informed. She was like, I didn't know, and I'm learning. And I'm learning because I want to be the best ally I can be. I can't say anything wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. That is exactly what you should do. You know, and honestly, you shouldn't come to us to educate you.
It's too exhausting. It's mentally and emotionally exhausting to try to explain to someone why Black Lives Matter is not racist.
Right. And so, you know, you need to take it upon yourself, because there's so many resources out there. You guys, Google is your best friend. And there's books, there's videos. If you don't want to read books, there's lots of movies and videos that explain things really well for free for the next, I think it's for this month, or I don't know, but Just Mercy, awesome movie to watch. And I always forget what the other movie is. There's 2 movies they have for free. And I was like, I can never remember what the second one is. But Just Mercy is a great movie to watch to understand police brutality, to understand how Black lives need to matter. And it's a true story. So that's the best reason why to watch it, because it is a true story. And Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan did a fabulous job. And ladies, if for no other reason to watch it, Michael B. Jordan looked really good. So, but it's a great movie. And kudos to Michael B. Jordan's character. He's an attorney. And like I said, it's a true story. That man is doing amazing things. Of course, his name has escaped me. I believe it's Brian, and I can't think of the last name. But he's doing amazing things for the criminal justice system for Black people. So, but you know, Netflix now has a category called Black Lives Matter. Perhaps you should peruse that category, and you can get a little education too if you don't want to read a book. But I actually think I'm probably going to do a blog post to give some suggestions of books and videos and stuff that, you know, my white counterparts, because as you know, as I've talked about, I grew up with all white people. And so there are a lot of white people that are Facebook friends of mine and connected with me on LinkedIn, etc. And in case you didn't know, here's how you could learn so that you do know. I also wanted to mention, I did not know what Juneteenth was until later in life. And that's because I grew up where I grew up, and the school system in the U.S. is the way it is. They didn't talk about that. We had Black History Month. That was 1 month a year. It was the shortest month of the year, and that was all we ever had. And I think that was the one time they talked about slavery, and then that was it. I do remember in 8th grade we watched Roots, but we weren't taught about Juneteenth. So that was something that we were educated on after the fact. I want to say it might have been my mom. It was that's how we learned about Juneteenth. Aisha, I have no idea if there's any Juneteenth events in Chicago. I highly would doubt it. You have to recall that I'm still sheltering in place. I have not left my home in, 12 weeks now, I think. So I have no idea. But I do know that online, it has been smoking all day with Juneteenth stuff. There's been press conferences. There's been videos. If you search the web, there's a whole lot of stuff going on online. Today, there was a discussion about race and food allergy. Oh, that was near and dear to me, and it was wonderful. It was amazing. So kudos to Emily Brown for doing that. But yeah, so later this evening, I'm actually having a discussion with an ER doctor here in Chicago on blackdoctor.org. And this is Men's Health Month, you guys, in case you didn't know. So we're going to be talking about that, but we're also going to talk about when you should go to the ER and why you should not be afraid to go to the ER anymore, because we should be able, everything is a little bit, especially here in Illinois, things are a lot better. And if you are sick, you definitely need to go. So
I wanted to mention in honor of Men's Health Awareness Month and the fact that Sunday's Father's Day, I'm going to have a Facebook Live tomorrow on my page talking about low testosterone. I usually have topics for women, but I want to speak to the men tomorrow. So ladies, bring your husband, bring your boyfriend, bring your friends with benefits, bring all of them. We'll be talking.
So you guys, in case you forgot, Dr. Kelly is an endocrinologist. Hormones is her thing. So testosterone is a hormone. So she is the one to talk to about this. So why not get this free information tomorrow? What time?
I'm going to do it tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Her page is
I'm sorry, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I'm sorry, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Kelly, MD is her page. We will tag it, of course, here, but make sure you guys don't miss that. And thank you, guys. We will see you again next week.
Bye.